We are learning the Mathematics 3 for the BTech courses. Paper code is MCSC 301 for the Computer Science and Engineering and MIT 301 paper code for the Information Technology. Today we learn the lecture 35 for the MCSC 301 Computer Science and Engineering. Module is 6 Graph Theory. Lecture 32 for the MIT 301 Information Technology. Module 5, Topic 6, Graph Theory. Lecture 35, Module 6 for paper code MCSC 301. Lecture 32, paper code MIT 301, Module 5. Contents of the lecture. Today's contents of the lecture: path, circuit, cycle, distance between two vertices, diameter of a graph, connected and disconnected graph, and also today we discuss the Hamiltonian graph, Hamiltonian circuit and Hamiltonian path. Under the discussion of graph theory, path, circuits, connected and disconnected graph. Then we discuss in the last part of this lecture the Hamiltonian circuit, Hamiltonian path, and Hamiltonian graph. What is called the path? First, move to the learn of the what is called the path related to the graph. And open walk already we learned the definition of the walk. An open walk in which no vertex appears more than once is called a path or a simple path or an elementary path. It is in the three name: path or simple path or the elementary path. That means no vertices appears more than once. As soon as the vertex is not appears more than once, it is not possible to appear edge more than once, unless until the vertex is not appear more than once, no edge never be appear more than once. So in an walk in which no vertex appear more than once, that means we can say also that no vertex and no edges can be appears more than once. In the given graph, we can see start from this, or we can start from the vertex V1, then edge A, V2, B, V3, D, V4. So this is the one path, vertex V1 to vertex V4. We can use this path also, V1, A, V2, F, V5, H, V4. This is the another one path. Another path also, V1, A, V2, A, V5, H, V4, D, V3. That is also the another path. Now, if we back here, then it is a closed path. If the start and end vertex is defined, then it is called the open path. If you start and end vertices of a path is same, then it is called the closed path. We are coming to that definition. Path 1, V3C, V3. V3, this is C actually. Name of this circle, a loop, not the circle, that's the self loop. That edge is the C. So V3C, V3. It is a one path. This is a basically a closed path. Now V1G, V1G, V3, V1G, V3, then D, D, V4, then E, V2, F, V5. This is also another path. Another path V1A, V2, V1A, V2, B, V3, D, V4. All are the paths related to the this graph. The number of edges in a path is called the length of the path. You can see what is the length of this path. One edge is there. Length of the path is 1. Length of the path of this path 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 4. Length of the path is the 4. That is the number of edges in a path. That is known as the length of the path. V1 E, this is how many? 1, 2, 3. So path 3, length of the path 3 is 3 because that is the number of edges 3. A, B and D. That is the 3 edges in this path 3. That's why the length of the path 3 is 3. Length of the path 1, it is already done. The origin and terminus of a path may be same. In this case, we do not treat them as appearing twice. This type of the path is known as the closed path. We already said when the start and end vertices is the same of a path, then it is known as the closed path. If they are different, then it is known as the open path. Note or discussion that we have to remember. We can call it the note or we can call it the discussion, whichever we have to remember to go to the in depth of the definition of the path. Every path is a trail, but every trail may not be a path. What is the definition of a trail? Vertex maybe appears more than once, but no edge maybe appears more than one. Maybe. So in the trail, see, in the trail, vertex maybe appears more than once. If any trail, any vertex appear more than once, then it is not a path. But in the path, no edges and no vertices appears more than once. In the trail, no edges appears more than once, but vertex maybe appears more than once. That's why path is a trail, but trail may not be a path. Path obviously be a trail. That is the next extra condition in the path from the trail. That's why every path is a trail and trail is not a path. A single edge having two adjacent vertices in a path of length 1. In a single edge having two adjacent, that adjacent may be the same vertex, may be the different vertex. Then what is the length of the path? Then the length of the path is 1. A shelved loop is a closed path. That already I discussed. A shelved loop is a closed path. Considering a path as a subgraph, we see that the terminal vertices of a open path are of degree 1. For a path, that terminal to terminal vertex, that degree is 1. If it is a closed path, or in between all the vertices are degree 2. When we are considering the path, see, when we are considering the path, we are not considering the total graph. When take the path in a separating that the path. So this is the terminal vertex and this is also the terminal vertex. Both are the pendant vertex and degree is 1. In between vertex, that is the 2 is incident to that. That's why in between vertices are degree 2. That's why intermediate vertices are of degree 2. Circuit. Now, what is the definition of the circuit? A closed trail. Trail means vertex may be appears more than once, but no edges appear more than once. So, a closed trail is called a circuit. It is a closed work in which no edges repeated more than once. It's called a circuit. Trail, a closed trail, we are saying as a circuit. But when we are talking start from the work, then we can say vertex may be appear more than once, but no edges appear more than once. It's called a circuit. This is an example. From that we can say, see, if we start from the V1, V4, V3, E6, V4, E2, V2, E3, V1. So this is a circuit, one circuit. We can do this way: V1, E4, V3, E5, V1, E3, V2, E1, V2, E2, V4, E6, V3. So this is a circuit. This is the example of given here. We start from the V1, E4, E3, E5, I think the same. V1, E3, V2, E1, V2, E2, V4, E6, V3. Oh, whatever I said, it is the same example. This is a circuit. Now we get the another definition, that is the cycle. So there is some difference between the circuit and the cycle. Except the terminal vertex may be the same, that time it is repeated for a cycle, start and end, but no other vertices repeated here. In this case, in the circuit, vertex repeated. V1, V1 repeated in this circuit, and V2 also repeated. For a cycle, it should not be repeated. Cycle means V1, E3, V2, E2, V4, E6, V3, E4, or we can say V3, E5, V1. This is the example of the circuit, and this is the example also for the cycle. This is a circuit. But electrical circuit, don't confuse with the electrical circuit. This is circuit definition according to the graph theory, but you people don't confused with the electrical circuit. I am giving the definition of a cycle. A closed path is called a cycle. It is closed walk in which no vertex except the initial and the final vertex, that means two end vertices, appear more than one, is called a cycle. This is also circuit and as well as the cycle, because the end vertices, these two are the parallel edges as per our the definition. So if we start from here, move this way, this vertex, then move this way. So a closed path is called a cycle, but there is some restrictions is there. In the cycle, no vertex appears more than one. You already learned, if the vertex is not appear more than once, no edges may be appear more than once. Circuit, vertex may be appear more than once, but no edges appear more than once. So we can say cycle is the circuit, but circuit is not a cycle. So in this case, these three examples is also the example of the circuit, also the example of the cycle. We are taking the another example here. Cycle 1, suppose this is cycle 1, cycle 2 and cycle 3. This is the definition already in the previous slide. Start from the V1, then E4, then V3, then E5, then V1. So if we start from this, then this is the one cycle. Start and the end vertex is the same. Again one cycle, V1, E3, that is V1, E3, V2, then E2, V4, E6, V3, E4, V1. So this is the one cycle. But we can say this is also a circuit. Cycle may be circuit, but always circuit may not be a cycle. E2, V2, E1, V2, V2, E1, V2. This is the one cycle. Note, every cycle is a circuit, but every circuit may not be a cycle. Already discussed. A circuit is a cycle if no vertices except the two terminal vertices. Repeat, it should be there is a bracket. A circuit is a cycle if no vertices except that the two terminal vertices repeated. Because in a cycle, no vertices appear more than once except the two terminal vertices. That means start and end vertex be the same. Distance between the two vertices. In this case, you have to use the concept of the path. Distance between the two vertices. Before go to the exact definition, I am discussing here. Distance between V1 and V2. I can move this way. This is the one path. I can move this way. This is the one path. I can move this way. This is the one path. I can move this way. I can move this way also. So V1 to V2 I can reach through the so many number of paths. From that we have to find out the length of the path and which one gives us the shortest value, that means the minimum value among them. That is the distance between the two vertices. If we consider V1 to V7, this is the minimum, this is the path which has the minimum length. I can move also this way. This is also the another path from V1 to V7. This is also the another path we can reach from V1 to V7 by using this path. There is the another path. So from the, by considering all the path, we need to find out the length of the path. Among them, which one is the minimum? That is the distance between the two vertices. Now we have moved to the actual definitions. The distance between two vertices Vi and Vj denoted by d Vi, Vj is the length of the shortest path between Vi and Vj. Shortest path means which gives the length of the path minimum. Shortest path between the Vi and Vj means you have to consider all the paths between the vertices Vi and Vj, then find out the length of all the possible paths. From them, which path gives us the minimum value. That minimum value is the distance between the two vertices. Now, if we consider the distance between the two vertices, there exists so many paths between V2 and V7. The length of the path B, if we consider this way, this and this, then it is the length is 2, length of the path. If we consider this way, this and this way, we consider this way, both the cases, length is the 3. Now if we consider this way, 2, 3 and 4, 4. Now if we consider this way, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. In this case, length is 5. If we consider, I think in this way, suppose V2, then V1, then V3, then means 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And if we move this way, so we'll get the so many paths to reach from V2 and V7 and their lengths be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 respectively between the V2 and V7. Therefore, what is the distance between V2 and 7? What is the minimum value? 2 is the minimum value. Therefore, distance between the two vertices V2 and V7 is equal to 2. From that, we can say distance between V2 and V7 is 2. This, that is the shortest distance between V2 and V7. Diameter of a graph. What is called the diameter? In this case, let us consider the distance between every pair of vertices. Distance between the every pair of vertices. Here, how many vertex? 7 vertex. And this is so. Let us consider the pair of vertices. That means we can take 2 from 7. How many ways? We will get 7C2. That means we will get 7C2 paths between every pair of vertices here. That means we have to find out the distance between them. How many distances we will get considering the pairwise two vertex V2, V5, V2, V1, V2, V3, V2, V4, V2, V6, V2, V7, like that. V2 with rest of that, V2 with fixed, then V1 with that. That way we will get. So from that we will get distances between the every pair of vertices. From that we need to find out the maximum of that. That is gives us the diameter of the graph. Now let's see the definition. The maximum distance between any two vertices in a graph G is called diameter of G. It is denoted by dim G. The distance between V2 V6 is 3, which is getter of all distances between any pair of vertices in G. If we consider V2 V4 is 1, V2 V1 is 1, V2 V3 is 1. Now V2 V7 we got the 2, and V2 V6 is anyway it is 3, anyway it is 3. This is the maximum distance between V2 and 6. So from that, if we take any pair V1 to V6, that is also the 3. V2 6 is 3. V1 V6 is also 3. In any way, V3 V6 is also 3. Now, if we consider other pair, maximum we get the 1 or 2. So 3 is the maximum distance between the two pair of vertices. That's why 3 is the diameter of this graph. That's why 3 is the diameter of this graph. Because V3, V6, 3 distance, V1, V6 is distance 3, and V2, V6 is the distance 3. Other combination will get the 1 and 2. That's why 3 is the diameter of the graph, and it is denoted by dim G equal to 3. Connected graph. Now we learn connected and disconnected graph in the first or second class, lecture class, I think. That means previous or previous class, anywhere I used that the connected graph. That time I little bit explained there what is the connected and disconnected graph. Now we learn exactly what is called the connected and disconnected graph. Unless until we learn the walk or path, that connected graph definition is not clear to you. As we learn the definition of the path, now the connected graph definition and disconnected graph definition will be clear to you more easily. A graph GVE is said to be connected if there exists at least one path between every pair of vertices. So, if we choose any pair of vertex, then we can easily find out a path between these two pair of vertices. If a path exists between the two pair of vertices, then it is known as a connected graph. This graph is given here is a connected graph. That means simple way we can say for a graph there exists a one path between every pair of vertices is known as a connected graph. If it is not, then it is known as the disconnected graph. That means if we choose the two vertex, if there does not exist a path, then it is known as a disconnected graph. Clearly, it is a connected graph. Disconnected graph. A graph VGE is said to be disconnected if there exist at least two vertices having no path. If we consider this graph, there is no path between the vertex V1 and V2. We cannot find out. There is no path between the V1, V4 and V3 to V5. We cannot reach from V1 to V5, V4 to V5, V3 to V5. Also V1, V4 and from V3 you cannot reach to the V2 and V5. That means if we consider the vertex set in this part of the graph and this part of the graph are not connected by a path. It may be connect this way, it may be connect this way, it may be connect this way, it may be connect this way. So that's why it is known as a disconnected graph. That means we can find out at least one pair of vertex. There is no path between these two pair of vertices. Then it is known as a disconnected graph. So this is a disconnected graph. Now, what is the part of that? How many part is there? This is a connected graph and this is the another connected graph. If we consider this part separately, so this is a one connected graph and this is also the one connected graph. One and two connected graph is there. That's why there is two component. This individual connected graph is known as the component of the graph G. As a total, this is a graph G. This is the one connected graph. This is the one connected graph. By counting how many? This is the two. So these individually connected graph are known as the component of the graph G. Note, a graph which is not connected is disconnected graph. Obviously, a disconnected graph is consists of two or more connected graph. I already explained each and every part is a connected graph. In our example, there are the two component is there and two connected graph is there. Individually is known as the component. Obviously, a complete graph is connected graph. Complete graph means, what is the definition? Every pair of vertices has an edge. That is the definition of the complete graph. That's why a complete graph is a connected graph. Component. We noted that a disconnected graph is formed by two or more connected graph. Each of these connected graph is called a component of the graph. We noted that so component, what are the components of a graph for a? It is only for a disconnected graph. We already discussed in the last slide. That means the previous slide, and also the definition, exact definition is here. fundamental number of a graph. What are these fundamental number of a graph? Normally, when we are discussing a graph, we are saying that we already know n number of vertices, e number of edges. That normally we are saying a graph G with n number of vertices and e number of edges. Now, in the previous slide, we already learned that is the component. That component comes from the disconnected graph. That number of components are the new thing to us. So along with the number of vertices, number of edges and number of components are known as the fundamental numbers of a graph. Now let's see the definition. Let G be a graph with n number of vertices, e number of edges and k number of components. In this case, for a disconnected graph, k is greater than 1. Or for a connected graph, there be only one component, k equal to 1. So for a disconnected graph, k is greater than 1. Then the number of vertices n, the number of edges e, and the number of components k of a graph of the graph G are called fundamental numbers of G. Now, the following observations, if we observe properly, we can see in the following things. If we observe properly the graph for a disconnected graph, it is obviously immediate. We can say that from the observation. A, if k is equal to 1, already said, if it is not a disconnected graph, then there is a one component. So only one connected graph, then k is equal to 1. Then G is a connected. If k is 1, conversely we can say G is a connected graph. Since each component of a graph must have at least one vertex, n greater than equal to k. Since the component of a graph must, for the existence of a graph, there must be a one vertex. That means it be a null vertex. Without the vertex, there is no existence of a graph. That's why n greater than equal to k. That means the key number of components. That key number of component may be the equal to the n number of components, but never be more than that. If I have the four vertex individually the graph, that means one vertex one graph, one vertex one graph, one vertex one graph, one vertex one graph. So four. The how many components? Four components. Each and every component have only one vertex. That's why we are saying n greater than equal to k. Since the minimum number of edges in a connected graph with n vertices is n minus 1. That is that theorem we already learned in previous classes. Minimum number of edges in a connected graph with n vertices is, when we proved this, that time basically I used the term the connected when I proved that n minus 1. Since then E is greater than equal to n minus 1 or E is greater than equal to n minus k. But in this case, when it is considering the k component, that we learn later classes. The next or after the next class, you learn this theorem. E is greater than equal to n minus k with the help of this theorem. Apart from the constants n greater than equal to k, this is n greater than equal to k, and E greater than equal to n minus k. These three numbers n, E and k are independent. If we not consider these two, then n, E and k are independent. So we have to remember this. k is equal to 1, then it is a connected graph. If now for a disconnected graph and there is the k component n greater than equal to k, and as we know, the for a connected graph maximum number of edges, that is the minimum number of edges, is n minus 1. From that we can say is greater than equal to n minus 1. From the k component disconnected graph we can say e greater than equal to n minus k. It is noted that the three fundamental numbers also are not enough to specify a graph except for the trivial case. For the complicated graph, it is not sufficient that three fundamental numbers, what are the n, e and k, that is the number of component of a graph. For the easy cases, it is sufficient for study the graph, but for the complicated graph, that three numbers is not sufficient. Then we are introducing the another two numbers. One is called the rank, another is called the nullity. And what is called the rank and what is called the nullity, that we are going to learn. Let G be a graph with n number of vertices and e number of edges and k number of components. When we are talking k number of components, k should be greater than 1, then it is a disconnected graph. When k is equal to 1, then it is a connected graph. Then the rank and the nullity of G are denoted and defined as R is denoted by rank R equal to n minus k and nullity mu equal to e minus n plus k respectively. So what is called the rank? Rank equal to n minus k. K is, what is the k? K never be the greater than, so n is greater than equal to k. K obviously less than equal to n and mu equal to e minus n plus k respectively. Now some discussions is here. We can call it the node. R equal to n minus k greater than equal to 0. When n and k is same, then it is equal to 0. Otherwise, normal cases k is less than equal to n. When it is holding the equality, then it is equal to 0. When it is not holding the equality, the strict inequality, then n minus k greater than 0. Me equal to e minus n plus k greater than equal to 0. Not B. If G be a connected graph with n number of vertices and e number of edges, then the rank and nullity of G respectively k equal to 1, that cases k equal to 1. So in this case rank will be n minus 1 and in this case k will be 1. So that time nullity equal to mu equal to e minus n plus 1. That is, for a connected graph k will be 1. So by using this we can replace by this r equal to n minus 1 and mu equal to e minus n plus 1. Hamiltonian circuit and Hamiltonian path. Hamiltonian circuit, a circuit in a connected graph G is said to be a Hamiltonian circuit if it includes every vertices of G exactly once. So what is called the Hamiltonian circuit? A circuit which is, or a graph which is includes all the vertices of that graph exactly once, then it is known as the Hamiltonian circuit. Otherwise, alternate way we can say a Hamiltonian circuit in a connected graph G is defined as a closed trail that traverses every vertices of G exactly once except the starting vertices. starting vertex and that is the end vertex. It maybe appears two times. That is, we are not calling as the two times, so that is the same. Start and end vertex is the same, considering that other vertices appears only once. Hamiltonian path. That means a circuit which is content all the vertices of a graph. Then it is that circuit is known as the Hamiltonian circuit. Or Hamiltonian path, if we remove the one edge from the circuit, then we will get a path. If we remove any edge from a Hamiltonian circuit, we are left with a path called a Hamiltonian path. That means the open path. If we remove a edge from that the Hamiltonian circuit, we will get a open path. That path is known as the Hamiltonian path. Otherwise, it is a circuit. From the circuit, if we remove the one edge, we will get a path, open path, not the closed path. That open path is known as the Hamiltonian path. Let's see the example. If we start from this, say, so when I start, I reach there by touching each and every vertex of the graph is known as the Hamiltonian circuit. If we remove this edge, suppose if we remove this edge, that means if we start with this, it is content all the vertices of the graph, then it is a Hamiltonian path. We are coming in the next definition. In this way, we can check it. If we start from this, otherwise start from here. This vertex, 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 and reach. That means start and end is the same. So this is also a Hamiltonian circuit. This graph contains a Hamiltonian circuit. This graph contains a Hamiltonian circuit. The following observations can be made immediately. We can see a Hamiltonian circuit in a connected graph of n vertices consists of exactly n number of edges. That is the easy and obvious thing. In other words, the length of a Hamiltonian circuit in a connected graph of n vertices is n. Because there is the n vertex, then you will get the n vertices, n path. See here. How many vertex is there? 4 and 4, 8. So how many edges is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So as many vertex is there, that many edges in that the Hamiltonian circuit. A path will be one less. One edge we are removing, that's why the one edge is less in the path. So in other words, the length of a Hamiltonian circuit is a connected graph of n vertices is n, because there is the n number of edges in the Hamiltonian circuit. That is the length of the circuit is n. It is observed that not every connected graph has a Hamiltonian circuit. For example, the graph shown in the figure has no Hamiltonian circuit. This is a connected graph. This is the connected graph. Every pair of vertices has a path, but this is not a, there is no Hamiltonian circuit. If we start from this and if we move this way, now I reached, but I cannot reach. So two vertices repeated twice. If we reach here, we start from this, we go this way. Only terminal vertices repeated twice, but here if we reached here, so two vertex repeat. So in this connected graph, there is no Hamiltonian circuit. In this case also, the no Hamiltonian circuit. Graph has no Hamiltonian circuit. If we start from this, I can move this way, but I cannot reach there. That is the Hamiltonian path is there. See, if we start from this Hamiltonian path is there. It is touched all the vertices, but there is no Hamiltonian circuit. But there is Hamiltonian path, both the graph. Now, every graph which has the Hamiltonian circuit is also a Hamiltonian path. If there exists the Hamiltonian circuit, obviously there exists a Hamiltonian path by removing one edge from the Hamiltonian circuit. But there are graph with the Hamiltonian path, they have no Hamiltonian circuit. These two are the examples. There exists the Hamiltonian path, but there is no Hamiltonian circuit. Another two, the length of the Hamiltonian path, if it is exists in a connected graph of n vertices is n minus 1, then the length of that, because in a Hamiltonian circuit their length is n, because there is n number of edges. When your one edge is removed from the Hamiltonian circuit, then the length of the Hamiltonian path, then we will get a Hamiltonian path. Then the length of the Hamiltonian path is less, one edge is n minus 1. A Hamiltonian circuit or path cannot include a self loop or a set of parallel edges, because a Hamiltonian circuit or path traverses every vertex exactly once, except the starting vertex for a Hamiltonian circuit. For a Hamiltonian circuit, we are considering start vertex appears only more than once, twice, because that is the start and end vertex. Now the definition of Hamiltonian graph. We learn Hamiltonian circuit, Hamiltonian path. Now we are learning the Hamiltonian graph. A graph is said to be Hamiltonian graph if it has a Hamiltonian circuit. There should be a one if. A graph is said to be Hamiltonian graph if it has a Hamiltonian circuit. So for a connected graph, there exists one Hamiltonian circuit. That means which circuit touches or contains all the vertices is known as the circuit, Hamiltonian circuit. If there present Hamiltonian circuit, that graph is known as a Hamiltonian graph. These two again we can say the Hamiltonian graph, because there exists the Hamiltonian circuit, both the graph. That's why these two graph is a Hamiltonian graph. This is the end of this class. So next class, lecture 36 for the paper code MCSC 301 module 6, lecture 33 for the paper code MIT 301 module 5. And what we learn in the next class, Euler graph, Konigsberg bridge problem and related theorems of Hamiltonian circuit, path, graph, and also related to the Euler graph means Euler path, Euler circuit, related to that. In this case, it is touch every edges, and related theorem we learn in the next class.